Hello, this is Julian with Coffee Reviews, and today we will be celebrating our 700 subscriber milestone the best way we know how, and that's drinking some really weird coffee. So let me go ahead and introduce you to what we have on the table right here, starting with this one. And this was a gift from my friend Zach, so shout out to and thank you to Zach for this coffee. It is the Pink Lazo, an anaerobic natural processed Colombia from Nomad Coffee out of Barcelona, Spain. And for anybody that's been around this channel for a while, you guys probably know that the anaerobic natural processed Colombian coffees are my least favorite coffee in the entire world. I like them less than super tomatoey Kenyans or even weird Sumatran coffees. So this one will be interesting. I believe that they have a pink pepper or a pink peppercorn note listed on here for this one. But that's nothing compared to this next coffee we have right here. And this was a gift from Benjamin. So shout out to and thank you to Benjamin for this coffee. This right here is the Bermudez 720-hour thermal shock processed Gesha from Standout Coffee out of Stockholm, Sweden. And it's one of the most discussed coffees of the entire year. It's a very interesting one. I've heard a lot of people talk about it, but it's kind of fitting given that we're at about the 720 subscriber mark. So we have an hour of fermentation for every subscriber we have on this channel. And I've heard some really weird and interesting descriptors about this coffee, but we have both of them brewed right here. This one is the Pink Lazo, and this one right here is the Bermudez. So we're gonna try them right here shortly. I just don't know which one to start with because I imagine that they're both going to be pretty heavy and it might impact trying the second one that follows. So I'm going to take one quick smell of the aroma from both of these coffees and kind of make a distinction as to which one I wanna try first. So this one right here, being that Bermudez Standout Coffee, yes, it is weird. I have had coffees like that are very weird, kind of this moldy, funky sort of taste to it. But that's what I'm getting in the aroma, is this kind of interesting funkiness to it. But I've had that before. We'll see if it really comes out to be that weird. And this one right here doesn't even necessarily smell that bad. Yes, it smells very red heavy, very red forward, but even then it does smell like it has a little bit of sweetness to it. I imagine that neither of these two, I imagine that they're both going to be overbearing, but I'm hoping for a little bit of clarity from either of these two coffees. I'm yet to try either of them, so let's give it a shot. I think that maybe the Standout might be slightly less heavy, so let's give this one a shot. Interesting. It is actually more fermenty and heavy than I was expecting. I was expecting a lot of funkiness. I think that's what I've heard from a lot of people, is that there's supposed to be so much funkiness that actually comes from this cup. On the forefront, it has that frustrating watermelon descriptor that a lot of people have, like that really heavy berry to it. Has a little bit of that kind of olivey taste to it, but I'm really hoping to get that weird cheesiness that's coming from it. It's slightly funky. It's actually a little bit more fermenty than I think I was expecting. Roast date on here is the 17th, so it's about a month in at this point. But even then, I expected worse. It's bad, but I've had significantly worse than that. All right, let's move on to this Nomad Coffee. Let's give this one a shot. I don't know if it's because I had the previous one that this one actually doesn't taste that bad, but this one is actually not even that fermenty either. So they're both heavy coffees, neither of which would score above a 1 in terms of the clarity. But this one right here, it does have a little bit of red fruit sweetness to it. I don't think it's actually as bad as I was expecting going into it. Both have a little bit of some flavor profile to them. And they're both very red forward, neither of which are necessarily my type of coffee, but honestly, I was expecting worse from both of them. Let's go in for one more try for both. We'll start again with a Standout Coffee. It just, how do I even describe this? People have labeled Parmesan crisp, and yes, I can smell that. It's very much there. I think it's one of those things where if you put your mind to it, you're trying to figure out what that funkiness, that kind of moldy smell is. But as mentioned, I've had coffees that have had the same sort of aroma to it. I was just really hoping that it might be overbearingly heavy, overbearingly fermenty and funky. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little let down. I expected and wanted this coffee to be much worse than it actually is. I wouldn't drink an entire bag of that coffee, but even then, the funkiness is a little more subtle. I've had much more funky. I'm thinking of Bermudez's earlier releases. A lot of the Paraíso coffees he had released that really just tasted overly fermented, overly funky. It's weird. All right, we'll try the Pink Lazo one more time. I don't know. That one actually has a little bit of clarity to it. I don't think that either of these two coffees are that bad. Very red fruit forward. It just reminds me essentially of a little bit of chocolate and maybe some slightly overbearing red fruits. But even then, it actually feels a little bit more toned down when compared to the standout coffee right there. I think the biggest takeaways I have from this is that we've pushed the scale so far with these really weird experimental coffees that even something like this, which in theory should be out of the realm of possibility and should be so funky and so strange compared to everything else, unfortunately, I'm kind of used to it at this point. I'm a little disappointed in my reaction to both of these too, because I really wanted to be just kind of shocked and blown away by both of these coffees. But honestly, I've had much heavier, much worse, much less clear, much more funky, much more fermenty cups of coffee than both of these. So a little anticlimactic, but it is what it is. This is still a great opportunity, though, to thank everybody for 700 subscribers. We're really happy about that. Just want to kind of reiterate that once we do reach that 1,000 subscriber mark, that we will be releasing our European coffee roaster tier list. So definitely keep that one in mind, as it's a video we very much want to do. Another thing we wanted to update you guys on is that we are doing the advent calendar again this year. We have also ordered Cafe Box's advent calendar yet again. I really love the product that they have. Interestingly enough, they will have a couple of coffees from standouts this year, which is really exciting because we have had some requests to review this coffee roaster. Maybe some stuff that's a little less weird than this one right here. But again, really appreciate all the support, you guys. This has been such a wonderful journey, and we really do enjoy talking coffee with you guys all the time. So if you guys do enjoy the content, give this one a like. We really appreciate it. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. But this right here has been a 700 subscriber special reviewing, or not reviewing, but sampling a couple of cups of coffee that I expected to be a lot worse than they were. Thank you for watching.